Hello. Oh, you're on this side.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Judge.
That's okay.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Real pen.
People are always wondering why the change. I said the deputies are in charge of security and that's the way they want it set up.
Yes.
So where are we on this case?
I think we're about 95% of the way there with discovery, Judge. I'll make, with my snail mail note here, I'll make a request to just follow up. There's a mention of the video within a video that I want to just confirm that we have, and otherwise, discovery wise, I think we're in good shape, Judge.
We are in agreement with that as well, Judge. Just that one thing, want to get confirmation.
All right.
And this is our very first setting, Judge.
Okay. So what I will do is I will recall you for June 27th.
Okay.
And that will be your final date for discovery.
Yes, Judge.
And once I give you the reset form and your client signs it, you are excused. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, are the parties ready on Austin Gibson? All right, court is going to call 2019 CR 8096, State of Texas versus Austin Zachary Mark Gibson. Could I have parties announce for the record for the state?
That's done for the state. Jason Garrett, cheers.
And are you Mr. Gibson?
Yes.
All right, we're here. There was a request by probation through Mr. Gibson for him to have his conditions amended to no harmful or injurious contact with Claudia Rushing in lieu of the no contact order. I've reviewed the file. She's not the complainant in this case, but the court entered the no contact order due to the nature of the offense.
And Your Honor, just to let you be aware, there was a case where she was the victim.
Okay.
I don't know if it was TIC or if it was just dismissed outright. But
Okay.
it was an act assault.
Let me see. Yes, it was NIMAG number 552093.
My JD is not working, Judge. So,
Oh, yes, I know JD.
but I believe that's correct. I mean, because I did happen to know that that case was dismissed for whatever reason.
All right, and probation, do you have a report for the court?
Judge, since the last compliance hearing, back in April, he's been visiting with, Claudia Rushing and the children as you directed. There has not been any kind of issues, or anything with those visits. The CSO assigned to Mr. Gibson did speak with Ms. Rushing, who reports no issues. And she states that she and the children hope that he can return to home. He's completed lifetime. He was residing at the Oxford house, but he couldn't afford to continue living there. So right now he moved in with his brother-in-law with his brother-in-law. But there is some other issues to, there are requests for him to be able to move back in to help with the children, and to get the family back together. He continues with his weekly sober support meetings and aftercare treatment. The probation officer doesn't seem to have any issues or qualms about him residing back with Miss Rushing. And I've asked her to join the Zoom meeting today. Judge, I did forward you a court summary so you can kind of overall look at the case in your email.
All right, and I do see in the court summary, and I'll give you this part.
So Judge, we are asking for you to lift the contact restrictions and allow Mr. Gibson to reside with Ms. Rushing and to continue with a no harmful or injurious contact order.
Okay. All right, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. How many days sobriety do you have?
Have 7 months and I think 3 weeks.
All right. So how often are you doing AA or NA meetings?
I try to get 3 to 5 meetings in a week, and then I'm doing my, as needed with outpatient in my time.
All right. And are you employed?
I'm currently not. I'm doing staffing through People Ready, and I'm currently actually have an interview today with Washtub on as well.
All right. And what time is your interview?
He said just come by at any time before 6.
All right. And how old are your children?
My daughter is a year. The oldest boy is 11, and the other one is 9.
All right. So you say your daughter is a year. So the other 2 children, are you their stepfather or biological?
Yes, I'm stuck.
All right. It always perks up my ears when people sort of seem as though they're putting more favoritism on their child when they're a stepfather.
I'm definitely not.
All right.
They're all equal to me.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
All right. So I'm going to call Ms. Rushing in. All right. Could you unmute, please?
Hi, hello.
Hello. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you
Yes,
solemnly
ma'am.
affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Claudia Rushing.
All right, any questions?
Ma'am, in this particular case, would you want Austin to move in with you?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Would you like Austin to move back in with you?
Yes.
And back when this happened, there was a case of aggravated assault where you were named the victim, is that correct?
Yes.
And you chose not to press charges.
Yes.
And can you tell us briefly what happened that day?
So Austin came to the house and he was under the influence of drugs. I'm assuming he looked kind of out of it. He got upset because he wanted his money. He had $200 in the bank and he wanted that money. And I told him, that money was for bills, that we were not going to touch that money. And he got, I guess, he got agitated maybe because of the fact that I didn't want to give him the money. And so he grabbed
We have
a knife from the kitchen and, was telling me to give him his money back. And then I just told him, hey, I'm going to call the police. Like, if you don't leave, I'm going to call them. And then he just put the knife on the table and then he left.
Okay. And were the children present at that time?
So both my older kids, they were sleeping. This happened around, what was it, like 5 in the morning, 5:30ish in the morning. So the boys were sleeping. The only one that was up or was woken up was my daughter. Well, our daughter, mine and his.
Okay. And so when Austin was on drugs, did he have violent tendencies?
I mean, apart from him like pinning me against the wall and then, then with the incident that happened, outside the house, as not really. I mean, he never hit me. I mean, he didn't hit me. He didn't like put his hands on me apart from like what I told you. That's all he did.
Okay.
And I did tell the police that day, that I think that Austin shouldn't, be in jail. He should get help, like be in rehab or something, because of his relapse. And so I did tell them that I didn't want to press charges on him. I just wanted him to get help because, I care for him. We have a kid together. I want my child to have her dad, And so what I honestly think it's just he needs to continue to do what he's doing right now so that he can stay sober, and get help. That's all.
Okay, well, that was my next question. Since that date and since he's gotten help, has he ever done drugs that you're aware of?
No,
And if he does do drugs, would you call the police and inform the police or the probation officer about that?
yes, I think, you know, what's important is that he stays sober, and so I will do what I need to do so that he can stay that way. You know, get him help, you know, tell the probation officer, tell him like, hey, you need to tell your sponsor, you know, tell somebody, you know, push him to get help.
And do you know who his probation officer is?
Sarah Davies.
So you have her number.
I have her number, I have her email. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, John.
All right. Ms. Rushing,
Yes, ma'am.
since he's been allowed to have contact with you, what is a normal activity that you all do together or do with the children?
We've gone to the mall to go, you know, eat and you know, just eat, walk around. We took family pictures on the what was it, on the 17th. We took some family pictures, and you know, we have gone to the park, we've drove around. He's had good contact with the kids. It does get a little bit depressing, you know, at the end of the visit, because the children will say and ask like, oh, when is daddy coming home? Or why does daddy have to leave? So that is always, you know, like the downside of the visitations, you know.
All right. And do you have any fear of him?
No,
Do you have any fear of him being around your children?
no.
All right. So here's the thing, in this court, to be successful at probation, and I think people are aware, and I know the state does this as well, and so does probation. We want people to be successful on probation. Otherwise, the state would not have requested that they be on probation, and I would not have agreed for them to be on probation. So with sobriety, you cannot slack with it. You have to be vigilant about it, because if there's a slip up, then it's going to lead to other things. He's on probation. He's not allowed to drink alcohol at all. So if there's an event, and I know we have the 4th coming up and other holidays, Juneteenth coming up, he is not to backslide. You're not to backslide, drink alcohol, because then that just downward spiral. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I actually don't drink, and he knows that, so that shouldn't be a problem.
All right. So this is what the court will do then. State, do you have any objections to lifting the order of him not being allowed to live there?
No.
All right. So I'm going to alter them in conditions. We're going to do the UA hotline for 60 days. You're telling the court that you do NA or AA meetings 5 times per week?
3 to 5, as
Okay.
many as I can get to this.
So I'm going to require NA or AA meetings 3 times per week at a minimum, because that appears that's what's working for you. And I'll lift the no contact order. And defendant, you're allowed to live with Miss Rushing if she wants you there.
I do have a question. Am I able to get like documentation that I'm here today? Because I do have a meeting with Lifetime this morning, and I don't want.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to be.
Yes.
Unaccounted.
Let them know that you're going to be late, but you're on your way.
Okay. Yes.
All right. Is there anything else?
State Your Honor.
Miss Rushing, is there anything else that you need from the court that you think would be beneficial to Mr. Gibson?
No, I think you guys have done everything. And like I said, I will make sure that he stays on tracks with his meetings, his medications, whatever help he needs from me, support that he needs from me, I will be here.
All right.
And so
is
I
there
thank you guys for everything.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for coming in by Zoom.
Yes.
Is there anything else you need from the court?
No, ma'am, that's it.
All right, we're off the record, so if you need something, you need to let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're the first person I've had before me who has 4 first names.
I know, everybody tells me that.
All right, have a great day, okay? Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Rushing.
Thank you.
All right, court is calling night mag number 7588930 and 7588931, State of Texas versus Marlon Daniels. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
George Sharman on behalf of Daniel.
All right, and are you Mr. Daniels? All right, we're here on a motion in each of these cases to alter and amend your conditions of bond. State, have you had a chance to review the request?
Yes, Your
All right, state, do you have objections?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, do you have any witnesses?
I have Ryan Spencer, his daughter here.
Oh, well, call your witness.
Well, I'll call Ryan.
Ryan Spencer?
Put it on the table.
Hello, good morning. All right, make sure you keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear. Could you state your name for the record?
Ryan Ashley Daniels Spencer.
All right. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Defense?
All right, would you tell the judge your relationship with Mr. Daniels?
Marlon is my father.
Okay.
And do you live with your father?
I do.
Who else lives there?
I have 2 little children, my 8-year-old and my 6-year-old, myself, and then I'm currently pregnant.
Now, does your father have a job?
He does.
Is he currently employed?
Currently, yes.
Now, is he able to work from home?
Right now, they're not allowing him to. They just need understanding that he's able to go to work physically, and maybe something from home could be worked out eventually. I'm not too sure.
Are you available to give him a ride from your house to work and then from work back home?
Yes, yes,
All right. Are you asking the court to allow you to do that?
yes, please.
Do you have a vehicle?
Yes, I do.
Does it have an ignition interlock in it?
No, he doesn't.
Would you, now does Mr. Daniels have access to that?
We live together. It's at the home. As far as him driving it, no, but we do live together, yes.
In order to get the opportunity for you to drive him to work, if the court so requires, would you be able to put an ignition interlock in that car?
If that's what's deemed necessary, yes.
What are you asking the court to do for him right now?
To allow him to be able to go to work physically. I believe that is the only thing the employer is preventing him from being able to actually go into office or work at all. So just for him to be able to go to work.
Now, why is it necessary for him to go to work?
Because, I mean, he accumulated bills. It doesn't stop. Nothing has stopped. I can only help financially so much. I know going to work would help alleviate the stuff that has came up and help assist with what's going on currently.
Can you support yourself and him if he doesn't work?
I can't do that.
So is it necessary for him to go to work and be paid by Social Security Administration?
Yes, it is.
Is that where he works?
Yes, it is.
He's a government employee
Yes, he is.
and he currently has a job.
Yes, he does.
Has he used his leave from his job? Does he have
Yes.
any leave left?
The only leave that I know of is his sick leave, which they are not allowing us to utilize.
All right. And if he were allowed to work, would you be able to tell the court that you would make certain that he doesn't leave the house except only for work?
Oh, definitely. That's the understanding. He's home now. If he is granted permission to go to work, the only place that he's gonna be allowed to go is to work, to and from work. So yes, that would be what we're going to do.
Now, does he have an ankle monitor?
Yes, he does.
Is that a GPS monitor?
Yes.
Is it expensive for him to have that monitor?
Yes.
All right, so let me just stop you right there. State, do you have any objections to him being employed and going to work?
Judge, I was misinformed. I was looking at something else.
Okay,
So that's what I was looking for. I don't think at this point the state would be opposed for him to be able to work. But we would be opposed to any vehicle being at that household that didn't have ignition interlock that he possibly would have access to.
all right, so I like to get to the point sometime because maybe a lot of testimony is not needed, but if more testimony is needed, you all just let me know. So is this the only vehicle at your house? You only have one vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that vehicle is going to need ignition interlock on it. All right, so that's off the table. So
All right.
next
now,
thing,
Judge,
employment.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had asked them about that and they told me they opposed.
Well, here's the thing. We
Okay.
are where we are now.
All right.
Everyone, sometimes people hear testimony and things change. Sometimes what I'm going to do originally, once I hear different things, maybe, what I'm going to do changes. So, when you're getting what you're asking for,
Oh, I'm not,
let it lay there.
yes, ma'am.
So they want you to have ignition interlock on the vehicle. Are you going to be able to do that?
I need to understand what that is and what I'm going to be responsible for.
Oh, well, it's a device that's placed in your vehicle. And anybody who's driving that vehicle, they have to blow into it.
Okay.
Now, state, if that vehicle has ignition interlock on it, are you okay with him driving or no?
Oh, no.
All right, so even though your vehicle will have ignition interlock on it,
Okay.
he's not allowed to drive it.
Okay.
All right, so there's to be no driving. Now, the next thing, with regards to the GPS, do y'all still want him on GPS? All right. Counsel, I understand why they want him on GPS because it's the nature of the offense.
I understand. We're just asking if you would waive the fees for him because they're having some difficulty.
All right, I will tell you what, I'll put in there to waive the fees or defer the fees. The problem is these are third-party contracts. So I have no authority to tell them the fees must be waived. So I'll put in there that the fees are deferred
Okay.
or either waived. If they waive them, great. If they just defer them, great.
Okay.
There's supposed to be a monitor that's free. I don't know where that monitor is. So I've been trying to figure out where's the free monitor and who has it, but that's where we are. So he's going to be allowed to work. State doesn't have any objection to that. There has to be ignition interlock on the vehicle. He has to have GPS. The GPS fees, I'll ask that they be waived or deferred. Anything else?
That's all we want, Judge.
All
Thank
right,
you
see
very
how
much.
this hearing ends very quickly on a, Friday's Eve?
Can I
Yes.
ask a- Okay, so with the interlock, is that a fee as well monthly?
That is a
So
fee.
Am I able to request a waiver on that one too?
I'll ask that it be waived or deferred, but I can tell you right now, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get an email from that company and
Mhm.
somebody's going to say, Judge, you're not allowed to waive fees on that. I know I'm not, but I write it down anyway because maybe some person will say, hey, we just found the free monitor,
Gotcha.
but you will have to pay for it though.
Okay, but as long as he's able to go to work to help assist, that's fine.
Yes.
Okay,
All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
thank you.
Judge, would there be a written order for pretrial
Yes.
services? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Mr.
Thank you.
Daniels, if you'll come forward, please. Yes.
Okay.
Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Marlon Demetrius Daniels.
All right, so Mr. Daniels, you understand that you are not allowed to drive at all. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So if it's discovered that you're driving, a motion is going to be filed by the state. You'll have to come in and we'll hear that. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that you do not understand about the court's orders?
No, ma'am.
All right, so you're allowed to go to work only. If something else comes up and say you want to go to the grocery store, You have to come back in and get an order for that. You're only allowed to leave the house to go to work. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge. I guess we're excused.
Hello.
Hi.
All right. So you've had sufficient time to speak with your client?
I have Judge as well as his counsel in California.
All right. So you need to appear when they ask you to appear. If you don't appear, what's going to end up happening is they may end up issuing a warrant for your arrest and they'll hold you until you appear. You understand?
Understand.
So I have an attorney here for you so they could perhaps discuss, and I'm assuming you discussed the options and what's on the table if you do not appear. Do you understand?
Understand.
All right. So my job is I receive the document from California. California have a hearing determining that you're a material witness there, and then I sign it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Do you
you
have
very
any
much.
questions about anything?
No,
All right. Thank you, Mr. Powers.
thank you. Judge, is Norma around today?
No, she's out.
What do I do? I was going to request, I filed a motion to switch from partial to tracking on GPS on that Eric Cantu case.
Oh, just, I'll hear it. Okay, just one second. And make sure that this document, that you have everything.
This is attorney.
Yeah, if you just pull everything, I'll look at it.
Oh, okay, Judge.
Sure.
I've got the motion. I can provide that to you and I'll go with
Yes.
the copy.
And y'all,
And I take it to the back.
hello. Court is calling 2015 CR 2807, State of Texas versus Joe Blake. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
for the defense?
And Mark Darling for the defendant, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Blake?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Thank you.
Are you the same Joe Cassius Blake, who was placed on community supervision in 2015 CR 2807 for the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more on September 14th, 2015 for a period of 5 years and extended for a total of 4 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. Pilot condition number 5, in Maverick County, Texas, the defendant Joe Casillas Blake did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer in person or through virtual means, i.e. Zoom, for the months of June and July 2020 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Your Honor, we'll waive the remaining violated condition.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, off the record for a moment. Zach, if you could let Brian know that his client will still need to be served with that order, so his client shouldn't leave until that's done.
Okay, yes.
All right, thank you. All right, we're back on the record. Mr. Blake, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $1,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes,
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
yes, sir.
Court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There it is, Your Honor, and it is to grant the motion, revoke the individual officer's probation, and to reform the underlying sentence of 10 years to 5 years.
Is that your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, that's what we're hoping you consider.
All right, Mr. Blake, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes,
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
yes.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, if you'll state your name.
Joe, please, Blake.
All right, you can lower your hand. What happened? Why didn't you successfully complete this probation?
Going through rough times, lost my job, got separated from my wife. And just everything was going.
Okay, you realize that you can't go back to drinking. You understand?
Yes.
I'm going to follow your agreement. I'll request the therapeutic community because I see that you were given inpatient treatment, but you didn't successfully complete it. So I'll follow your agreement, sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. And I'll ask for the therapeutic community. The therapeutic community doesn't increase the time that you're in custody. So the 5 years you received, if you're still working on things in the therapeutic community, they're not going to hold you. You understand? So it's just to help you hopefully be better when you're released. All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, when you're released from custody, don't go back to drinking. If you cannot find an inpatient treatment place, if you need one, or if you need an outpatient treatment place and you can't find it, you can always come back to court if I'm here and I'll direct you where to go, okay? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Judge. And I apologize for, I forgot to come back. I had a hearing at 1:30 and anyway.
And I know the state had wanted to continue Mr. Nelum, as did the defense. I was swaying back and forth on that. So I asked that the persons at the home he was staying at be present. And so we have that person by Zoom. Both parties said that they would have no objection to the person appearing by Zoom, correct? All right.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Tammy, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
My name is Augustine Tamby. I'm the co-owner of the Maverick Home Health where Mr. Nelum was staying.
All right, does anybody have any questions or are you all okay with me asking questions?
Yes, Judge.
All right, so I have some questions. I don't understand why the reason changes were made and those changes were not approved by me. So my understanding is that he was staying at a foster home. Who placed him in the foster home and why?
So the program, which Mr. Nelum is, the home and community-based program, it's a program that is based on the individual's choice. We had Mr. Nelum in the group home, and while he was in the group home, his behavior was inconsistent with him living in the group home. So he made a choice that he wanted to live in a foster home where someone would then supervise him, a foster parent would supervise him. And even at that location also, he was not compliant because he was leaving the home unattended. He was given certain period when he's supposed to be home and he's not, getting back home at that time.
All right, so is he allowed to be in a group home? Do y'all have a group home for him? And if I allow him to be with y'all in a group home,
Yes, we do.
Okay, he's not allowed to make choices of whether or not he is leaving the group home and going somewhere else. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you have a group home for him?
Yes, we do.
Are you willing to accept him back?
We're willing to accept him, but we recommend if at all he'll be sent to, because while he was at the group home, he had some problems with drugs, and we would like for him to go to a rehab facility prior to coming to the group home.
All right, do y'all have a rehab facility available for him or no?
We did give him some choices and he refused to attend.
All right, so this is what's going to end up happening because both parties have agreed for him to remain on probation. He's going to go into inpatient treatment. And then after he finishes with inpatient treatment, will you all be able to pick him up?
Yes, ma'am, we'll
And
be able to
transport
do that.
him.
That's correct.
Probation, is there anything else?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you for coming in. Probation will be in touch with you when he's about to be released, and I'll put an order in that he's only to be released to a person from your facility.
That's correct.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to go off the record. Mr. Lamb, I want you to listen to me and listen to me clearly. You're doing this thing where, oh my gosh, let me look sad and downtrodden. That will only get you so far. It's not going to get you any further with this court anymore. The court considered your age. That is why the state offered you deferred for this case anyway. But if you are able to tell somebody you don't want to stay at a location, you want to stay somewhere else, then you're old enough to face real life consequences for your actions. If you're old enough to go out, find drugs, use drugs, or buy drugs, then you're able to suffer the consequences for your action. If you're able to take without permission the vehicle from your foster family, then you're old enough to deal with consequences. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do not come back to this court again for this nonsense. You had better fly straight and narrow. Otherwise, a motion to revoke is going to be entered, and all of this thing where people are feeling sorry for you, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand what you're supposed to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you are going into an inpatient treatment facility for whatever drug issues you may have. And then once you complete that program, they're going to pick you up and you're going to be in their home. And you're not going to a foster home. You're going to be in that group home and you're going to follow their rules. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And if you want to leave that home, guess what? You have to get permission from this court. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there anything else?
Not from defense judge.
All right, probation, what inpatient treatment do you want him in? All right, so I'll deny the motion, alternate amend conditions. And we can go back on the record. I'm going to deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to include state ISF substantive track, and he's to be released upon completion to the MOFU home only. Is that MOEHU?
Yep. MAOFU.
MAOFU.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there anything else?
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Is there anything you don't understand about my instructions? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Yes, probation.
Judge, we're here regarding a compliance hearing that was stated on the supplemental report. Judge, the CSO requested allow removal of the GPS device, require compliance and progress of conditions within 60 days, otherwise set for a compliance hearing. So that's why we're here. It appears that since January, Mr. Torres really hasn't made much progress in regards to his conditions, to include providing proof of income, parenting class, victim impact panel, DWI intervention, sober support meetings, and an affidavit of non-driving. He was instructed to submit UAs on 2 occasions, and he failed to submit those in February and in March. He did present a negative in April. However, today we did obtain a positive UA for cocaine.
For medication.
No, cocaine doesn't.
I take 18. Take Trazodone, Adderall, Seroquel, Xanax.
So you're saying there's a prescribed medication
Well,
out there that,
I don't-
no, stop. You're telling me that there's stop chewing gum.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're telling me that there's a prescribed medication out there that would give a false positive for cocaine?
I haven't
No.
done nothing. I haven't
No.
done nothing.
My question is that what you're telling me?
I'm not a doctor, I'm not sure, but with all due respect.
Well, here's my question. And you're not on oath. Have you used cocaine?
No, I haven't.
All right, so
I've been at home.
then the only other option is you're telling me that there's medication that will cause a positive for cocaine.
I'm not sure, I haven't even drank. I've been at home almost 3 months.
All right.
And I take 18 medications. I have all my papers from my doctor prescribed too. I haven't done nothing. I
All
haven't
right.
even drank.
All right. So I'm not removing it. I can't be removing GPS when somebody's testing positive for cocaine.
I don't know what to say. I just been at home almost
All right.
3 months.
So, I mean, it's
I
not
just
getting
come out of
removed.
the door, so,
It's not getting removed.
okay. If you like, I could give you all the documents and my medications, like, I don't do it.
I don't know of any medication that will
Yeah,
cause you to,
I don't know what it would do.
defense attorneys,
Sorry.
is there any medication that you all know of that would give me a positive for cocaine? Cornelius is gonna come up with, Cornelius is gonna
I
come up
take
with an answer.
Prednisone, Seroquel, Adderall, Xanax, I take a lot. Seroquel, I have all prescribed.
Here's the
medication.
thing, Seroquel
Yeah,
doesn't
but
give,
they're all mixed to me. I take them every day because I have anxiety.
no, that doesn't, none of those drugs give
I
you
don't know, I
false,
haven't done it. I haven't.
but this is what I'm telling you. You know, sometimes, you know, I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. Maybe there's a new medication out there. That's why I asked the defense
I'm not saying there
attorneys.
is, but I haven't done nothing. I've been in my house already almost 3 months. I can't go step out of foot, so.
Mhm.
I haven't even drank. I haven't even drank.
All right, probation. This is what the court is gonna do. I'm not removing GPS. And he's gonna be subject to the UA hotline. Here's the thing, if you have a drug or alcohol issue, guess what? We can work with you on that. I can figure out something that could help you with that. But I'm not removing GPS. And so we're gonna do the UA hotline.
What is that?
Yes. All right, and then I'm gonna, your TAP evaluation recommended outpatient treatment. So we're gonna do dual diagnosis. Outpatient treatment.
Then I've been getting random visits from the clubs, like big one, like every.
And we're gonna do 120 sober meetings and 120 days.
Sure.
All right, so here's the thing. I want you to be successful on probation. If I didn't want you to be successful on probation, I wouldn't have agreed for you to be on probation.
Sure.
So you have got to be honest with yourself and look in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Guess what? Where you are now, hopefully this is not where you're going to end up, where you're positive for cocaine all the time.
Yeah.
All of us, me included, we're all trying to be better people and improve our lives, right? Nobody's
Yes,
perfect.
ma'am.
So you're going to have to not use drugs because you're on probation. You're not allowed to. Do you understand? And don't come before any other judge. If you're before a judge, telling them that you're positive for cocaine is because of your prescription medication. All right, you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, probation. Is there anything else? All right, good luck to you. If you need something, let the court know. All right, so you know what? Because this is going to end up having to be a restitution hearing, and how old are you?
21.
All right, he's young. Let's appoint an attorney for him to address the restitution issue. Can you mute us for a moment? All right, so what is happening with the federal case?
Your Honor, my client's waiting on a PSI date still. He was told it would be 90 days. It's been about 90 days, but he still hasn't gotten a court date yet.
All right, has your attorney on the federal case given you some idea when that will be?
She had told me it'd be soon, Your Honor. I spoke to her last week. She said it should be coming in, but there's no date yet.
All right. So State, were you able to tender an offer?
It's a little bit different type of case. There's some things going on that my investigator is gonna be going to just Blake's office with, sorry. Blake, it is Blake.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Her office to collect some items in this case, so it might be resolved differently than through an offer.
All right, so I'm going to give you all till July 11th. Is that enough time for everyone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
And once you sign the reset form, you are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Counsel?
Your Honor, I'm subbing in today or helping out Mario Moreno. He has a vacation notice on file and he wasn't able to be here today.
Okay, when is he back from vacation?
He's back on June 7th, according to my email, but I can't verify it in
All right, so we're going to recall this for June 13th.
June 13th.
Yes,
Honor, may I?
yes.
So the prosecutor's still, it's already been, I don't know how many months, they're trying to prove that there's extra evidence that I had contacted Mr. Medlin within the order in violation. We're still waiting on that evidence. I don't know why it's taken this long for them to receive physical evidence.
All right, you'll need to talk to your attorney.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'll give you a reset form for June 13th, okay?
June 13th. Maybe we'd be excused after she signs it.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's calling 2024 CR 7889A, State of Texas versus Jonathan Lopez. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar with the state of Texas.
Defense?
Linda Corley for defense.
Are you Jonathan Lopez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review a document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Jonathan Lopez who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2014 CR 7889A for the offense of robbery on February 2nd, 2015 for a term of 10 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 5 in Maverick County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ovidio Lopez, was in there, failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of January through December 2022 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 5. Is there a proposed agreement?
Your Honor, it's both sides want to go open.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, state requesting revocation 8 years TBC.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we have a witness here as well, if you feel that you need her.
Oh, let's
we're
call the
request-
witness.
Okay. Mr. Vance.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you're gonna need to keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear.
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name for the record.
Alondra Mata.
All right, off the record for a moment. To the interpreter, I'm gonna take you up as soon as this witness is done.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
All right, we're back on the record. Defense?
Thank you, Judge. Can you spell your first name for the court reporter, please?
ALONDRA.
And how do you know Mr. Lopez?
He's my boyfriend.
And how long have you been together?
A year and a half
Okay. And in that year and a half, where has he lived?
with me.
And during that time, was he working?
Yes, he's been working. And
All right. And did he go to work every day?
yes,
All right. Has he been helping with bills and all your living expenses as well?
yes, he makes my car payment, pays half of the rent and buys the food.
And during that time, were you aware that he was supposed to be reporting to probation?
No, I wasn't aware in the beginning.
All right. And so now you're aware that he had that requirement. You understand that we're here today because the state has filed a motion to revoke his deferred.
Yes,
All right. And you understand that means that at this point, he's not convicted felon. So we're here today to ask the judge if she would consider allowing him to stay on deferred. So can you tell the judge a little bit about your experiences with him, with the responsibility and how he's been doing since he's been with you?
yes. Jonathan has been with me for a year and a half. When I met him, he was already working. We moved in together and he's been helping me pay the bills. From what I've been with him this time, he's been doing good. He hasn't done anything that shows, that he's going back to what he used to be. The person that I met is not what I know today. That was something in his past, so.
If the judge were to allow him to have another opportunity not to go to prison, why do you think that he would follow the rules at this point?
I think he's in a better place now, and I've never been in trouble, so I don't allow anything bad to, for him to do. So therefore, I know for sure that if he's with me, he's not gonna be doing anything wrong.
And you understand that he had used marijuana. We waived those violations, but how do you feel about that?
He's not smoking and he's not going to.
Okay. And if he was, would you report him?
Yes, he knows that.
Would you be there to help him to keep track of all the things that he needs to do?
Yes, I've been helping him with that as well. He's been checking in and on his own, doing what he has to do. So he's been doing pretty good.
I'll pass the witness.
I just have a few questions. It looks like it was a shock whenever you found out he was on probation then.
Not as a shock, but when I found out, I did tell him, like, you have to do the right thing now. And this is what he's been doing since he's been with me. So as far as when he got arrested, he's been following all the rules, and I hope, you know, that's what he's gonna continue to do if he's with me.
So it wasn't a shock when you found out that he had been placed on probation for robbery previously.
I didn't know that until now.
So he never once informed you of that.
No, not until I found out.
So you found that out when he was arrested on this charge?
Yes.
And based on what you knew of him, was it a surprise that he would have had a case like that?
It is because he's a good man. He really is. So when I found out what it was, I didn't believe it, but he's with me and he's been doing good. So I think that's the person that he's trying to be from now on.
No more questions, Your Honor.
I have a few questions. When did you meet him?
January of 2023.
Where did you meet him?
I met him on social media.
All right. And when you met him, when did he tell you he was on probation? Did he ever tell you?
No, he didn't tell me that he was on probation. He was working, so we just, you know, continue like.
Well, no, how did you find out he was on probation?
Not too long ago.
When he got arrested?
Yes,
All right. And then that's when he told you he was on probation?
yes,
All right. Do you have any children?
yes.
What are their ages?
17 and 21.
All right. And then you said that he pays the bills?
Yes,
All right. Do you pay any of the bills?
yes, I do. I have a job.
All right. And this marijuana use, did you know he was using marijuana?
No. In the beginning, I knew, but he stopped.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Judge, I would like to call Mr. Lopez.
All right. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jonathan Elvidio Lopez.
All right. Defense?
Thank you, Judge. Jonathan, you know this, we're here in front of the judge, and this is your third MTR, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you've had problems while you've been on probation when you started, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk to us about what was the underlying cause of those?
I was at the time, I was in a very dark place, and I had lost my jobs and went through a major breakup with the mother of my children, and I just felt like everything was, everything was just on top of me, and I was in a dark place, and I was using marijuana as a dumb decision instead of reaching out for help and getting help from the state and myself. I put myself in a bigger holes than I was already in.
And you went to outpatient treatment, right? And you completed that successfully once, and you went a second time, and you did not complete that second time.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened there?
I just was, I was out of work and stuff, and I was embarrassed of like asking for help, and I just didn't. My phone had broke, and I didn't continue with the Zoom.
So at some point, you started climbing out of your depression. What was the catalyst for that? What changed in your life?
I started going back to church and seeing my kids was it gave me hope again to do everything that I needed to do and get back on track.
And on your prior NTRs, you had turned yourself in, and on this NTR, you knew you had a warrant. At some point, you went to turn yourself in. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so you went to the sheriff's office
Yes, ma'am.
and you identified yourself, and they told you to wait.
Yes, ma'am.
So you waited there for some time,
Yes, ma'am.
and then you made a decision to leave. You got scared. Why did you leave?
I was there for about an hour. Everybody called me and I made the stupid decision just to leave instead of waiting for them to come get me. And I made a dumb decision and I left, and here I am back in court.
So you began working once you started seeing your kids and you started pulling yourself out of the depression. You started working again. Where did you work?
With my uncle doing roofing.
Okay. After you were arrested, he didn't want you to come back to work for him. Can you explain why that was?
He was dealing with his own problems with probation and other stuff, and he just didn't want me to affect with whatever he had going on.
And did that have something to do with your ankle monitor?
A little bit, because where he goes, we go to like certain places, and he didn't want for me to be on monitor and go to like certain places that he needs to go, like his bases and different stuff, for them to decline his contracts and stuff.
Okay. And so at some point you met Alondra,
Yes, ma'am.
and how did that change your life?
She's a good person, and we started going to church, and I feel like she's pushing me to be a better person than I was, and she motivates me to be a better person.
You know, this is your third NTR, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Why should the judge give you another chance after she's already given you 2 chances? What's different now that you can assure her that if she does give you this chance, that you're not going to give her another reason to put you in prison, that you can be an upstanding citizen and continue working and being a good force in the community?
Before all this that I'm going through is, I was young. The case is over about 10 years old, and after that, I haven't picked up any new cases, and I haven't gotten like major trouble since then. And I know I made stupid decisions along the way when I was reporting, doing the UAs and stuff. But I was using marijuana as, could I say, like coping mechanism, when instead of I should have asked for help and asked my probation officer for different ways. And I made dumb choices instead of
But you had
doing the
help.
right thing and going to.
So you had help, but you blew that, right? You had the outpatient and you messed that up. What was your mental condition at that point?
I was just in the dark place. I wasn't thinking correctly.
And you had picked up a couple of possession of marijuana, shoplifting, and a driving while license invalid at some point during your probation, correct?
Yes, but that was over 7 years ago.
Okay. And so are you using marijuana now?
No, ma'am.
If you were to test, would you test clean?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand the judge could send you for testing if she wants.
Yes, ma'am.
Pass the witness.
State.
Just a few questions, sir. So you never told Alondra about the fact that you were on probation, did you?
I told her that I was in trouble, but she really didn't believe me until I recently got incarcerated.
Did you ever explain exactly what you meant by being in trouble?
I kind of like explained it to her, but she just didn't believe because she didn't see that person. And I explained to her and I would explain to her and I told her that I need to make enough money to get a lawyer because I'm in, major trouble, and she didn't believe it. And when all this happened, when I recently got incarcerated, and I guess she saw for herself, when I came home, she still don't believe that. But I told her it was something that it's over 10 years ago. I believe everybody has a second chance or deserves a second chance.
You would agree that you've already had 2 prior MTRs, right?
Yes, sir.
So would that have been your first and second chance?
Yes, sir.
No more questions, please say.
All right, anything else?
Nothing, Judge.
Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court is going to find you guilty. Grant the motion. You all want to speak to time?
Your Honor, state's still gonna recommend 8 years.
Defense.
Judge, may I address the court about the issue? I understand that we can throw him in prison.
All right, so counsel, I will hear your issue, but here's the thing. I know that I'm not the person who placed him on probation because he was placed on probation in 2015. But since that time, you've had motions to revoke with me. And I know that I tell everybody, if there is an issue, let your probation officer know. If you feel like they're not addressing it, you can always come back to court. He's just disappeared. And I'm sure everybody has read the court summary. He's disappeared. And I internalized everything that was said to me. And you know what usually happens, Mr. Lopez? People will call witnesses to come in. And you know what? It's always the witness acting as though they're on probation. I'm going to make sure this person doesn't use marijuana. I'm going to make sure this person reports for probation. They're not on probation. You are. All you had to do was report. And guess what? If you're testing positive for marijuana, it is rare that I revoke somebody for testing positive for marijuana. I let them know. I know marijuana is legal in other states. If you want to make it legal in Texas, contact your legislature. But while you're on probation here, you're not allowed to use marijuana. And I know the last time we were here, on your motion to revoke, where you were continued, I said those exact things to you. And now when everything comes to a head where somebody has a motion to revoke and they wouldn't report it, all of a sudden, everybody has their life together. I'm married. I'm engaged. I'm with a lady. I never told her I was on probation because you know what ends up happening? Guys, when they end up with women, sometimes women will fall in love with you. Maybe they're falling in love with your publicist. Maybe you haven't presented your full self. But I know usually when women fall in love with the guy and they don't know all of this history, then they get hit with the history. And guess what? They still in love with that guy, just like the witness who came to testify for you. She's still in love with you. She still wants to do everything to keep you out and about. But you're not a good candidate for probation. I don't consider it throwing you away. You can still do good things when you come out of prison. I'm not going to sentence you to 8 years in prison because you have done some things on probation, but I'm not continuing you on probation. So you're going to be found guilty. I'm going to revoke you. I'm going to give you credit for any time served. I'm going to suggest the therapeutic community. There's going to be no contact with Maria, Ahmed, and James Tristan. I'm going to order the removal of GPS because you're going to be in custody. They've asked for 8. I'm not sentencing him to 8 years. I'm not going to sentence him to the minimum. So what are you asking for?
Judge, I would ask for 3 to 4. He did make an effort. He has turned himself in the past, so he's not somebody who keeps absconding and not putting himself forward. Judge, he has followed all the rules. He could have run. He didn't run. When I went and talked with him this morning, we talked seriously about the fact that this may very well happen. And he didn't run, Judge. He didn't leave. I've had clients to just run out the door. He didn't do that. He still stood here to face, so although he made some bad decisions and he didn't handle things well, I think he has improved his life. And I understand that you may not believe that, but I've talked a lot with Alondra.
Oh, no, I believe he's improved his life.
Very, very stable. And so he hasn't been living under a bridge or using hard drugs or living off of other people, and he's been working. So I would ask given that you give him 3 to 4 years, Judge.
All right, I'll sentence you to 4 years in the prison. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I'm sorry, you have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you are on deferred adjudication. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. I hope you understand the reason why you're being sent to prison is because your actions. It's not because of the person you were with. At some point in time, we cannot just go off and live our lives and pretend like we're not on probation. And when you tell me I haven't picked up any new charges, there are a whole host of people in this courtroom who haven't picked up any new charges. When you tell me, oh, I've stopped using drugs, there's a whole host of people who are abiding by the rules and not using drugs. The fact that you have not picked up any new charges, yeah, that's something I'll consider, but it's not the be all, the end all, because you shouldn't be picking up new charges anyway. So when you're released from the prison, I realize prison time is a difficult time. Anytime you're locked up is a difficult time, but you need to stay on the straight and narrow. If she ends up waiting for you, then she'll end up waiting for you. Make sure you don't bring any problems to her doorstep. Don't go to prison and get institutionalized. When you come out, if you feel like you're going to use drugs or you need help finding a place that could help you with any drug issues or whatever issues you may have, if I'm still here, you can come back and I'll make sure that you get that help. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Who's here? Are you already on surgery?